Greeting, beautiful beings. Hope you're having a sweet day today. Today, we're going to really drop into some really key orientation about transitioning into quantum crystalline. Um, there's more to it than coming to meditation once a week, right? I hope that you all have had a beautiful week and that you really got time to really tune into what we did last week. And there's a significant amount of people who joined us kind of over the week. So it makes me realize that what we are experiencing here is really coming to the fore. So we're going to backtrack a little bit and just kind of go through a little bit of our process just so we get more of a physical orientation as well as an emotional, mental, spiritual orientation, what we're doing, what the actual process is, not just the idea of it, the hope for it, but the actual process that we have to participate in moment to moment as we are able. So, as I've spoken about before, Earth reality as we know it split into two formats last winter solstice. It was very subtle. It made me wonder if what the Mayans were talking about was actually happening in this reality now, that 2012 is something that laid it all out. And by 11 years later, actually the time split happened. So that's that's a throw up in the air. What does that mean kind of statement, time split? But basically, what it did is it created two formats. One that we live in pretty heartily, that's 3D, with this additional factor of time adding into it. And as we've said before, this too is an illusion. But it's a format. It's a format that we live in and that we have consciousness in and that we're operating in. The other one, which we've been actually being with for, I'm going to say at least 3.5 years, is this quantum crystalline. And at first, it just looked like a crystal network. And we would speak about being on the quantum and we would think, well, Earth is upgrading to 5G. But really, it's become clear that that's a little bit more complex like that than that. In that, when we look at density, reality, when we touch it, it feels very real. And it will feel real moment by moment by moment. It won't kind of come in and out and change its density format as in a dream. In a dream, one moment you're here and the next moment you're in a desert. And how did you get there? In 5, 6D quantum crystalline, it's a format that's superimposed. It's not even superimposed, it's underimposed. It's within imposed. It's vibrating at a higher frequency. So our brains aren't tuned in to seeing it. Just like there are many, many people on the earth who will never see energy, never see ghosts, never see things even in their meditation. And then there are people who see energy around people. Well, what's that? That's just a different vibration that we develop the ability to tune into, to register. I think that's a better word. We're developing our ability to register into have an awareness, register and be aware of this quantum crystalline field, energy, manifestation, world, however you want to look at it. And there's another piece to it. We're transitioning into becoming that kind of being. Now, we've also said that time space, if you really pay attention to the physics of it, gravity contributing to this, but also this major factor called entropy. And the second, we've spoken about the second law of thermodynamics, which says if you don't keep putting energy into something, it peters out. And it can be, a piece of fruit on the counter, and, that could dry up and eventually disappear, or it could be a house that, is no longer here in 5,000 years. Entropy is pulling everything in a downward spiral. It's just how it is. And in a way, it's been really good here, because if you had everything here that was here 255 million years ago, which is probably when the first manifestation of consciousness life manifested here in world 1. So we're in world 4. It'd be pretty crowded. So entropy, giveth, the world giveth and entropy taketh away. With quantum crystalline, it's a frequency base that it's not really entropic. It's actually evolutionary. So that once you are linked to it, once you are part of it, once you embody it, you become a frequency manifestation that has those qualities of perception through this up-leveled intellect, energy, so that you experience yourself as energy in this quantum crystalline manifestation, and then the interconnectivity, which we spoke about last week, which is universal love. It just becomes the experience of it. It becomes the aha. It becomes the yes of it. And we've experienced that. We've come together. And, I note today that we have our beautiful 8, our magical number of congregants, shall we say. And when we gather together in this magical format, we get the bleed through. We have enough energy that we're feeding off of and connecting to each other and uplifting each other. And we have the bleed through. And so we're going to see if we can manifest that towards the end of what we're doing here today. So humanity is being called to up level to 5 and 6D. There is that pull. There's that why not to it. There's that draw. But it's tough because density requires a lot of the human mind. It's not just that the body has to be fed and the body has to be clothed and the body has to sleep. It's not just that. The way that this evolutionary process has happened. So we've observed, going from being cave people to being industrialists and to being cosmonauts. I mean, there's been this huge evolutionary strategy, and it's really come to us. A lot of evolution has happened via the patriarchy, but unfortunately, it's winding to its, it's like how should I say this? It is now being more destructive to its environment than it is being productive. We can't even grow crops where we used to in certain parts of the world. And there is going to be shortage of food issues unless that shift that we're doing bleeds through to enough of those in charge. We'll see. But there's a lot of beings who, through attachment and ego, I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. I don't know if they're going to be able to get through to the aha, like, oh, you know, that oh moment where you go, I'm here. I better make that difference. So the other thing that's interesting is that mankind has become not only conditioned to time space being the only thing that we have, but we're addicted to it. We are. And that addiction shows up as attachment. And yes, I mean, I know you all on one level or another. And we're attached to our creature comforts, aren't we? We're attached because we don't know anything better. And we do it because it's encoded into us for survival, right? So beyond that, we are looking at Earth, time, space, Earth, reality, quantum to Earth, space, reality. You have a choice. So transform in our consciousness and then trickle down to our mind and our thoughts, and then trickle down to our emotions and our attachments, and then trickle down to our actual physicality. We have this choice to start tuning into, whenever we can, to that quantum crystalline frequency and realize that it's an evolutionary spiral going clockwise. It's a turn of the wheel. But the wheel is turning. And in a way, when I say upwards, I use that in time space, but there is a registration of clockwise in this process that we're engaging, because we are these beings still are oriented in time space. So we want to have that feeling of not only changing something every day, every moment, but we want our consciousness to be able to vibrate at a higher and higher frequency. Or some people, and it's okay, there's no judgment, we are going to remain in this time space entropic downward spiral. It's just how it is. Now, the problem with that is how to separate between those and how to navigate and how to intercede. Because, it's like that family Thanksgiving where, you have the Democrats and you have the Republicans, and you don't talk politics, at the dinner table, because there's sure to be some disharmony there. So it is treading in the world as this evolutionary being, this being who's attending to their evolution, with that sanctity that you're nurturing inside of yourself. And then we want to say, yes, off-planet quantum crystalline beings are manifesting to guide us in upleveling. And we know that because we had that, for one, we had that beautiful being from Lyra. and how she really gave us our format to work on, our stages of working on. And we're a little bit in every stage right now. So really opening up that which we call the intellect to higher possibility, to expanded possibility, to deeper awareness. And this will guide us really to what we're going to talk about today. This is very, very, very important. And then just knowing, just remembering we're energy and not giving into the illusion that we're not. And then, of course, finding any moment we can for that inner connectivity. That stage is to be awakened into, but we know it's there. And we practice it, right? We practice it. So those who choose the QC, that's what I call it now, because it's a long to type out. Those who choose this pathway to the QC will visibly retain their human form, but vibrationally uplevel to this energetic six-sided matrix format. And it will allow a lot of awakening to happen within you. That would be a lot more difficult. That would require a lot more work. And so, in a way, I know this has already happened for some of you. You're already experiencing that within. And I know it's, I had those series of experiences where I already saw that has happened in this physical vehicle. And abide by it to the best of my ability. Okay, so let's talk about this challenge of us being on this path as these beings who are evolving into QC, and the challenge that time-space presents to us. Just so I want to say these so that you can recognize them as they happen and go, oh yeah, why did I do that? Oh yeah. And you come back to this list. Come back to this list or write it down, because this is really important. That I might have missed one or two, but this is the quintessential list. So the first thing is we have an innate human survival instinct. And you go, well, that doesn't affect me. Oh yeah, it does. Because you know what? If someone looks at you the wrong way or insults you, or is a little crabby or whatever, you're not being accepted. And being accepted is a very, it's a very strong survival instinct. And you know why? Because in the early days, there were small bands of beings, and then there were tribes and clans. And if you weren't accepted into that, it really threatened your survival, because you could be left out in the dust or in the snow. You could be excommunicated. You could be exiled. And I even worked with someone this week, and let's just say her ex is part of a very, I believe, even perhaps even a Scottish clan, something like that. I mean, clan. And there's there's been a detachment because of being an ex. And it's painful. And so we have to nod our heads and learn that this is what humans are going to do, and this is what we may experience. And it's going to challenge us. And then we have to come into non-attachment about it. This is what we're going to talk about. Ego attachment today. And you don't have to have a big ego to have ego attachment. I don't know of a single being who doesn't want to be liked, because it's what makes life here sweet, to have engagement with other beings, to be loved by someone or someone's. And I know beings who love you dearly. But if one of them looks at you the wrong way, we're attached to how that should look. We're attached to how romantic relationships should look. We're attached to how our friends should treat us. We're attached to how the workplace should manifest. We're attached to doing our job well so our boss doesn't fire us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this is the challenge of time space. Yeah. And if you're having a little out with a friend, it feels like a little something in here. And then you think in your mind, oh, I haven't seen them in 2 weeks. And do they care? Do they think about, to see how it leads into thoughts and how it leads into this, a hurt heart. And so we have to learn to observe those and realize that if something like that is happening, you as a being are creating it, co-creating it, but creating the actual expression in time space so that you can see that you're attached and you can work on it. And the attachment for me feels a little bit solar plexus. Maybe the lower 3 chakras. Yeah. And at some point you take a deep breath in and you go, love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. The other thing that happens here is survival of the fittest. Well, we've taken it to the extreme, have we not? So, in order to really ensure survival, I'm going to make sure that I become the first trillionaire, or at least that I have, 100,000 billion in worth. Do you see what I'm saying? I even heard these people talking about being in a traditional boat race, except this race it's a differently powered, it's a man-powered thing. And they go, you have to have $100 million to enter this race. Now, can you imagine a race of 10 or 20, 100 million racers? And I'm like, you guys, really? What could you do with that? So then that leads to power over. And who's got the biggest? But it's not just who's got the biggest, who has the most power, thinking that power is something that when I get to a certain registration in the hierarchy, my survival will be guaranteed, because if that doesn't happen, then I can go here. And these beings are going to serve me and I have power over them. And we're seeing massive examples. It's not for the good of all, all over this world. And it's leading to some real entropic issues. And so then all of the dominion has logged into submission to control. And so loss of sovereignty, loss of internal, like, I know that this is what is true for me, and this is how I'm going to be and live. And then that also causes divisiveness, and it causes a polarity, and it causes divide and conquer. And so then you get this separation programming. And I mean, it's all over. Everybody knows you want to conquer a situation, you divide. I mean, it's known, and we can't help ourselves, because this is the challenge of time space at this time, this reality. And then here's the other one that's really, I got this the other day. Oh my golly. It is the illusion that you're not divine. And you never will be, because you're a human. And you must go through someone to get to divinity. Now we're doing this and I'm saying this and that, and you're coming in a way with me and through me. But I'm empowering you to find and register your divinity in the highest way possible and walk around on the planet as a divine being. And whatever downloads I get, I'm going to pass on to you because that's what I'm about. So this illusion of non-divinity, we have to really start countering that. You know why? Because it's an installation in our brains, in our consciousness. You are only a human. Okay. Now, then we go, well, oh my gosh, that sounds really heavy. Now what? Okay, so how to transcend time space. The best is just whenever you can during the day, observe it as an illusion. Just go, all right, it's an illusion. All right, okay. This whole thing is coming down, you know. And sometimes you have those weeks where it's just a lot of things rise up. And that's the exact moment where you go, and this is illusion and love, love, love. And I'm going to release it. And I'm going to do the 7 loves. I'm going to really jam-pack this whole experience with the tools that I know. And then you have to just, whenever you can, you bump into something, you're like, and just a reminder to myself, that's 99.999% space. And you just know that, yes, it's formatted to appear real, but it's still an illusion because it's just space. And then again, we have to observe attachment. We just do. I remember someone came to my house once and we were having meditation here. And, she says, well, I'm practicing non-attachment. But she kind of said it that way. And I'm like, but now I realize she was practicing. She was practicing. And that's what we have to do. Because practice is something that can have two meanings. One is like, well, I'm learning it by practicing, or the other one is I just do it. I practice, practice, practice. I just do it. And we're somewhere in transition between those two things, right? We're practicing, but we're also showing up. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it for ourselves. We're doing it for the group. We're doing it for humanity. Then whenever you get a chance, you go, yeah, love, love, love. And then you go, love, 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 love. And it works because instantaneously you have told your brain, I'm not going to do that thought. Because really the attachment usually is accompanied, it's usually instigated by a thought. And it's a thought that you rarely see. Even very quick react like that to something. It was an unconscious thought that you just threatened me in time space. How could you do that? So anytime you have that sound of, or that's the exact moment that you're nailing, you've noticed that you're attached and you go, okay, good, I saw it. And then you take a deep breath in, right? Yes, darling. How can I help you? You go first. Then it's opening to quantum crystalline. And this is what we practice here. And absolutely, whenever you get a chance, re-listen. even to part of it, say, well, I know from this part to this part that gets me there, because it's important that, we close our eyes and we quiet our mind, especially when there's a group. Let's say you're have the good fortune to go to, say, a yoga class. Bring this to yoga class, because everybody's already moving into that space of mindfulness with their bodies. Be the quantum crystalline field there. Yeah, and then in time, what happens is it grounds there. It grounds. It's just there. And the minute you close your eyes, and I just go to some of these places, I just say love, love, love. It's instantly there. And then have this agreement that you're going to anchor what you're bringing through this QC. You're going to anchor it for humanity as part of your soul purpose, right? Because it is beautiful for us to do it for ourselves, so that we feel more ourselves, or more soulful. But really, when you commit to anchoring it here as part of your soul mission here, your agreement to come to this planet at this time, so many of us know we have a purpose here. We can have these memories of ancient times, perhaps even off planet or in other realities or dimensions. And then, as I've shared with you, I remember stepping through into this universe from another universe and making that journey through all these different dimensional manifestations to get here at this time in the densest place imaginable. This place. There's some weird places out there, but this is dense. Agreement. Yes, I will. And yes, I am. And you could say that just right now. Yes, I will. And yes, I am. Now, there's a little bit more here, well, how to do this in the moment. Something has happened. Again, observe your emotional responses. And I'm going to tell you, someone tells you something sad, you cry. That's just, and you observe an injustice in the world and you feel anger come up through you. That's real. Of course, you let it go. And something frightens you and you shake. That's real. Those are in the moment. Shall we say time-space confrontations? It's when you're attached to something and something happens or someone does something, and then you do this. And then you do this. That's what's keeping you back. So you observe your emotional responses. Okay. And then you breathe through them. And you love, love, love mantra them. And hopefully you get to a giggle. Hopefully you get to a giggle. Like, oh my gosh, I just went down the road with that. Oh, come on. Resolve attachments. So in other words, you notice that this is happening over and over again, and you just go, no, okay, I'm attached to that situation always being the way I want it to be. So I got to let go of the attachment. And it doesn't mean that you can't put energy and intent into changing that situation, but you got to resolve your attachment, especially if it's happening over and over again. If you have things that are not presentable or pleasurable happening to you all the time, the same thing, you have to go behind the scenes and go, oh, I'm creating this for some reason. Why? Oh, there it is. And then go, okay. When you can then connect to the QC and radiate that through, and you can do it as simple as saying, I am crystalline. I am quantum. I'm quantum crystalline. I am that. I am quantum. I am crystalline. And then put them together. And then what do we strive to get to be love? As one, to be love. And I find that, you know, in my line of work, it's easy to be love because I'm helping people. And the more I help people, the more I get to be love. So is there a way that you can manifest in your life to be of assistance to others? And sometimes it's family or clan. And it doesn't mean overgiving. It means showing up and listening and being there as love. And a listening ear and a heartful anchoring as you listen. And a breathing through with them. And now where two are gathered in my name, and my name is the divine. My name is the divine. So we're already shifting there. Even as we speak about this, we're shifting there. Can you feel it? So here's the deal, beautiful beings. I know each and every one of you really has a divine purpose on this earth plane that you can manifest step by step by step. I know it. So intend to manifest your divine purpose on earth and go, yeah, without attachment. In other words, you can't be like, oh, I have to be this, I have to be that. No, you're out walking. You're resting, getting ready to go to sleep. You are by yourself somewhere. Drop into your intent to manifest your divine purpose. And while you're at it, intend to manifest your purpose, to manifest as divine, a divine being, a divine being. And then as you do that, open to upgrade what you know and what you don't know becoming known. Upgrade to intuition. Say, yes, let's do this. And then listen when the information rumbles through or taps into you and says, turn around now. You go, right. Okay. And then you just have to keep remembering that you are just energy. You're an energetic frequency. And you can program that energy as if you were a computer. And those are our IMs, correct? And if you're needing something in your life, I am attraction. I am divine attraction. I am quantum attraction. I am crystalline attraction. That inner connectivity. Feel into that right now. Let's do it again together. I am attraction. I am divine attraction. And feel your divinity as you become that beautiful place to receive. I am divine attraction. And then I am quantum attraction. And then I am crystalline attraction. Yes. And now you begin to see the crystalline, don't you? Don't you get a sense of the lightening up between the matrix, the lightening, the elevation of consciousness? And then with that, I am attracting everything I need to manifest my purpose as a divine being on this planet at this moment. I am attracting everything I need to manifest my purpose as a divine being here, now. And just sense and feel that magnetic draw of all of those elements. And at the same time, all the tools to release any attachments or any resistance that won't allow that to come into my field, my consciousness, my presence, my life. As a divine being, I transition to quantum crystalline consciousness in earth plane reality. And I'm being guided to say to you, notice in this moment if you have any resistance, if any thoughts come up like, I don't know if I'm good enough, or I don't know how to do that, or, but what if? And just notice any thoughts and nod your head. Say, I noticed you. And then find that place in your consciousness, maybe even in your brain, that installation that says, oh, I could never be divine. Go. Let's find it. And collectively, we energetically dispel that installation on the quantum. With humility and grace. Humility and grace, I accept my divine consciousness. I honor it. I own it. I own it. Quietly, of course. It's a subtle nod of the head in certain moments where you go. And then expand. See, this allows us to expand into interconnectivity. And realizing we're here as a presence. And we're here as a template, right? If you can really manifest this upgrade, this upleveling, you will be an energetic template. It's like a, a super enlightened person being has a congregation, and they come and be in that being's presence, and something happens. You want to be that. And whether anybody knows it or not, doesn't matter. There just needs to be enough of us to make a difference. And then you would just drop into love, 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 love. You know, it's our secret mantra. It totally works. And then, of course, this is, what I'm saying here is it's all about empowering others to up level. You are here to empower yourself. I can do this. I am this. I'm in process to then empower others. And sometimes that empowerment is wordless. Wordless. It's a hug. It's a wink. It's a smile. It's a nod. People you don't even know. Right? You will be called to it in the moment. And it's an honor. It's definitely an honor. So beautiful beings. We've done our work for the day. Love, 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 love. To whatever capacity I'm able, I send out like huge blessings to you. And one of those blessings, this is what I intend, that there's a difficult moment somewhere in your up-leveling process this week, just like a little, and that blessing comes in and it goes like this. And you go, oh, right. And then you have a giggle. When we get to that lightness of being, we become a lighter being. Okay. Blessings to you all. Blessings to you all. Blessings to you all. And we will again meet up in time space. I know, with some beautiful experiences under our belt. Namaste.